It's so nice to see you. So bear with me, I'm 8.5 months pregnant. So I'm like extra sweaty. So just know that that's naturally happening for me right now in this moment. Before I get into this presentation, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. I am actually a Texas MBA graduate in 2016. I did my undergraduate at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Do I have any Midwesterners in the house? Yay! Anybody from Wisconsin? No, Illinois, Chicago, something. Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. So I am a Badger, and I am a Longhorn, and most importantly, I'm Rachel Lee. And I actually grew up in Los Angeles. Anybody from Los Angeles? Yeah, wow, only one? Wow, okay. We're like taking over, they say here, right? Can you believe it? I don't believe it from this count. And I lived across the country, and I've always been, in my mind, a branding lady boss. In my mind, to me, marketing has been my way to really be in business, but be creative and connect with people. Because guess what? People are what run businesses. Okay? And what I want to instill in your mind today, especially in the beginning of this school year, is that your personal brand and how you're showing up here tonight, how you're showing up in classes, how you show up online is all part of your brand story. And I really wish, actually, when I was entering college or in college that I was given a presentation like this, but I didn't really realize that I always have been doing this. I've always been building my brand. I've always been really conscious of my voice and what I'm saying to the world. And it's part of the reason why I left corporate. So I worked at a marketing agency for several years, got my MBA, and then I went to Microsoft. So I entered the tech world. Not done yet. And then I was at Gartner. So I've been working on the B2C side, which you would think about, consumer product goods, and then also more software technology side. Until 2 years ago, when I decided I wanted to do my own thing. And I left my big corporate job in 2021 to partner with my husband. Yeah, we can talk about that another time. He's Joshua B. Lee, because all of you are going to connect with me on LinkedIn, and you can all connect with Josh. He's the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn. And Josh and I are now business owners, partners, husband and wife, mom, dad, all the things. And our entire mission is to humanize marketing online. It's a big mission. And it all starts with your personal brand. That's where it starts. And so we work with amazing leaders to craft their story, to bring the you out in them, and to bring that to a place like LinkedIn so that they show up as a thought leader with influence, not an influencer. That's a distinction we make at StandOut Authority. So a lot of influencers out there, I'm sure many of you are exposed. We like to work with the real deal, established people who have a voice, and they deserve to be heard. Which, guess what? Is all of you. So it's a little bit about me, and we'll get right into it. Like we said at the end, we're probably going to have a lot of questions around profile building, so we're going to do our best to handle those and support you as you kick off this year and intern searching and all of the things that you're doing. So I get a pulse on the room. How many people are new, freshmen, just entering in? Okay, probably like half or so. Congrats. Woo, first week on campus. It's so exciting. I love college, so I did it twice. So I love it. How many people are sophomores or juniors? Okay, so it's like another half. And who's like a senior last year looking for jobs? Okay, cool. You're all probably looking for internships, right? And opportunities, I imagine, for the summer, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Great. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today, beyond just me, why branding matters. How many people, I assume, this is such an interesting, I love this institute and how are people in also business backgrounds looking at it, or communication? Can you give me a pulse, like, are people wanting to go into business as well as doing what's going on here, business? Like, who wants to do marketing? Okay, what about like engineering? Is that really, okay. So what about like communication school? Okay, cool. Because I just want to know who I'm talking to. No matter where you are, by the way, your brand matters. But I'm going to simplify as much as possible because I've been doing this for a while, so sometimes I use verbiage that I want to make sure everyone understands. So why does branding matter? What is a personal brand in the eyes of Rachel B. Lee and soon to be you? And then how do we build your personal brand? So I have 4 steps to get you started. This is really the beginning. But guess what? You're going to be building your brand your whole life. I'm building my brand in this very moment, right? And then we'll talk about LinkedIn profile building. I'll take some questions and we'll do some more rock your profile to hopefully really help you in this kickoff of your school year. So, why does branding matter so dang much? Well, a first impression takes 0.1 second. You know what that means? All of you saw me walk in here, and you're like, ooh, that's a speaker. You don't know me. You see this pregnant woman who's sweating, but in cute pink shoes. And wearing Henderson earrings, of course, right? You're all making impressions, thinking about who I am, but you don't know me. And so those impressions happen. This is like psychologically, this is how it is, okay? Branding is really a psychological experiment. Quite frankly, marketing is everything in marketing. So if you like psychology and you like to understand brains and why people work, and you want to be creative, go into marketing, okay? Great marketers are people that understand the mindset, the behaviors, and people are making impressions of us really, really fast. And guess what? It's even harder now to make sure those impressions are accurate with social media. I have a lot of empathy for y'all because I just can't even imagine being young with social media. It was hard enough to, how I felt about my body, my this, my that, and then having other people judging me, making judgments about my character without social media, and now y'all are just like in it and living it. So you really have a big responsibility, really big responsibility to craft your story and to be really cognizant of it, because guess what? People are going to do it regardless. So wouldn't you rather control that? The other piece, let's see, is that it takes at least 7 interactions for a brand for people to start remembering a brand. It's actually a lot more. This is a minimum. So when you think about marketing, right, and like all those advertisements that you're seeing on social media, all the out-of-home stuff that you're seeing, you watch a YouTube video, all of that, right? All of that is trying to have you remember us. In the old days, like 1950s, not even that old, but to you and to me, you could make an impression by just having a magazine ad, right? That was a pretty great way to sell to people. That doesn't work anymore. Our attention spans are nothing. We're inundated with content. AI's taken over, so there's even more content. And so it's taking at least 7 times, really it's 10 to 15 to 20 times for somebody to remember your brand. And I think about that at a company brand level and a personal brand level. So you're going into the interview and there's like 100 different people applying. How are you going to stand out, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to say? And you better believe that they're looking you up online, okay? Just let's not be stupid about that, right? They're checking you out. I know I'm checking you out. Who knows? Maybe one of you will work for me one day, and I will be checking out your social media, guarantee it. So, in the world we live in today, impressions are happening really quickly. And so I ask you, how are you showing up? How are you showing up? What are you wearing in class? How do you go up to your teachers? If you're going to a sorority, I was in Kappa Kappa Gamma. Any Kappas in the room? No? Okay. Not one? whatever it is for you in that moment, how are you showing up so that you're best representing yourself? My goal for you when you walk away today is that you get to think about yourself a little bit more. Not what others think about you, not what your parents think you should do, or what you should major in, or who you should be. But you get to take a look inside and say, what am I trying to achieve here? You know, for some of you, you're in your first few weeks of school, which is so exciting. The world is completely open to you. Well, the world's open for all of you, you know, really. And mine is too. Guess what? 35 and a baby, and I have the world completely available. But I know my why. I'm really clear at this point in my life what my mission is here on this planet, what this baby girl, what she's a girl, what she's here to create, right? And if I could just take a moment and influence you ladies just a little bit, maybe my baby girl will be influenced a little bit better. Maybe she could grow up feeling safe and heard, and valued and loved, right? So those are part of my whys. My why is for your voice to be heard, for you to understand your voice, for you to say, I deserve to be heard, and to put yourself out there. And to do it in a way where it's meaningful, authentic, and nice. Because there's a lot of not nice things people say these days. So I want you to show people who you are, not just what you do. And people are going to ask you a lot, what do you do, what do you do, what do you do? You know, why are you applying for this job? What do you do, what do you do, what are your skills? You're going to differentiate yourself by not just saying, I'm good at project management, I'm a really hard worker, yeah. You're all that, guess what? You're at UT. Like, you're all great, beautiful souls. You need to figure out your story and your position so that somebody wants to look and hire you because you specifically meet the need of that company. And every single one of you is unique and has a story to be told. The question is, are you going to take hold of it? Are you going to own it? Right? You don't need to know all the answers. Like, I'm not expecting you to know what I'm like totally talking about right now. Like, you're like, Rachel, my why? I just want to go to the football game. Like, I don't know, have fun, like drink with my friends. That's cool too. Like, guess what? Your network is your net worth. Highly suggest you make a lot of friends. But everything you're doing now is laddering up to what's next. You know? So what is a personal brand? Does anyone want to answer this? What you think a personal brand is? There's no wrong answers. Yeah?
I think of it kind of as what characteristics, like your personality brings to what you're marketing, whether it's like a company or you're marketing yourself. It's just unique characteristics.
So your unique characteristics that you're bringing, absolutely. Your skills, your expertise, yeah, that's totally part of it. Yeah?
The beliefs and the why behind what you do.
Love that. Yes, both great answers. Thank you. That is all correct. Yay! No wrong answers, really. So when I ask other additional answers, people will say is, you know, your personal brand is your reputation, right? Or maybe some of you have heard the Jeff Bezos quote, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Just think about that. True too. Guess what? When y'all go after her, you might be like, oh my God, she was so great, or you might be like, God, she was so annoying. Oh well, landed it in some way, or landed it with some others, and some didn't. You know, that's just it. I'm cool with that. Because guess what? I'm coming as my full authentic self. Love me or hate me. I worked at Gartner, which is a multi-billion-dollar company in research and IT consulting. And one of the VP analysts, Mark McDonald, he says that a personal brand is the context people use when making judgments about your messages, actions, and requests. It's how they hear you and how you encourage them to take action. So all of you are leaders, right? We need women leaders. Yes, I'm a leader. Claim that. Claim that now. I'm a leader. You are a leader. We need every single one of you to be a leader in this world, every single powerful woman in this room. And so you actually are judged more than others. And then marginalized women even more so, right? So we really need to think about how we're showing up. Not to put pressure on you, but for you to be accountable and responsible for what you're saying and what you're doing, and to make sure that you're crafting the journey that you want for your personal brand. You need to own up to it. By the way, you can make mistakes, I'm not saying that. I just want you to be conscious. Conscious. Even more simplistically, a personal brand is how others see you. So right in that idea of reputation, it's really important. It's really important how people perceive me because impressions matter. We know it takes many interactions. We're human beings. We don't live in some euphoric society. We don't. So how others see us is important in us creating our success. Also, another half people don't really think about, especially ladies, is how you see yourself. So this piece of how you see yourself, I uniquely want you as women to think about this as you craft your careers, because we let other people really craft our story too often, you know? And how we see ourselves, our confidence and owning our worth, owning what we can do and can't do, is going to give us the confidence to build a personal brand that really stands out. That's what's going to amplify your success. For you to really know who you are in here, deep down, right? Those values. And when you know that, and you're aware of how you're showing up in the world, it becomes this really magical personal brand that people gravitate towards. That gets you a job, that gets you more money, and honestly just makes you feel like a badass. And that's what we want. We want you all to be lady bosses, because you are. Every single one of you. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. You know, I really didn't think about who I was, I would say, until 30. I would say that was when I really started to I was just in the pursuit. I knew it was badass, I coming here to get my MBA, working with the best of the best, but I didn't know what I really wanted to be and become and own until around 30. Hopefully that happens faster for you, but I'm also telling you that life is a journey, you know, and everyone's is going to be different. But that journey to knowing myself and to who I am today is really comforting, right? Because I don't really care if people don't agree with me as much, because I know myself. That feels good. So your personal brand is you. It's your story, and it's your legacy. And I've been thinking a lot about this, right? Because I have a baby. It's it's just a very magical and really crazy time that I hope many of you get to experience. Some of you will, some of you won't. Being able to bring a new generation in, and a new generation of women really has the thinking. You know, what is she gonna experience? How does she, I hope that she won't experience the same insecurities that I did. You know, all those things. What's my legacy for her? And I have 2 stepchildren too. I have a 14-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl. So I think about this a lot. And so your actions or other people are ultimately going to take your personal brand to the next level, or they're going to really hold you back. So I want to show a few examples to crystallize what I'm talking about here. Need I say anything? Y'all are just yeah. What's funny, for y'all, I actually changed it to T-Swift because originally I actually have J-Lo in here, and who J-Lo to me is the old, but I guess I'm not as relevant. I had a few youngsters tell me, and they're who's Cherry Lowe? And I was like, oh my God. Oh, I need to bring T Swift into the mix. Because, I mean, with your shirt over here, so you clearly went to the show. You're like, oh my God, she changed my whole life? Yeah. Yeah. Who else thinks that T Swift changed? I mean, yeah. Even if you didn't go to the show, do you still feel that way? She knows me. How many people feel that way? Yeah. I love her. She knows me. My God, everything about her. Yeah. Talk about building a personal brand, right? And she's gone through a lot of evolutions, which I think is really fun to watch and experience her. But becoming probably the greatest all-time tour artist, entertainer, creator of ever, her and Beyonce, pretty magnificent. So she's not just a musician, she's really a businesswoman. She's a philanthropist, right? Like her brand extends multiple different facets of who she is. What I think that she's a great example of is really just staying authentic to who she is by being real in what she's saying. Doesn't mean that like T Swift from when she first came out, at whatever, 16, you look at that versus now, you're like, these are the same women? And you're like, well, yeah, actually they are. There's a thread, but she's evolved so much, right? But she stays really true to who she is, including some of the amazing stuff she's done around licensing of her work, right? Working with Spotify, she's really gone against a lot of people instead of making money. So I think that's cool. Who is it? Praise God. I just let me leave it in here. If they don't know Oprah, then I'm up Schitt's Creek with this one. Oprah's like the OG. I think she's a perfect example of a personal brand because you just say Oprah, and there's a feeling, there's an emotion, there's a purpose that she's created. Not to mention she literally, Oprah magazine, her shows, podcasts, right? Just like a personal brand. Oprah means something. So it's not just a business brand, she's a personal brand, right? And then there are some people that are quite controversial. Who's this? What do y'all think about Elon? Laughing, chuckling? One person give me an opinion while I have a sip of water. Come on. Yeah.
He wants to take over everything, including Twitter.
Yeah. Do you have a good feeling about him?
No.
Does anybody have a good feeling about him? Did you have a good feeling about him?
He's giving dictated vibes. I feel like he's giving dictated vibes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, love it or hate him, you got vibes from him, right? So we say that a lot at StandOut. Love me or hate me, you're talking about me. And that's also part of our goal with our personal brand, because we don't want to blend in with everybody, right? So Elon has definitely taken an approach that many of us would not agree with. However, we'll see in 10 years what he ends up creating with the craziness he's doing, and he probably will still go down as one of the most innovative geniuses that has ever been on this planet. Even though he might be a really shitty leader, And that is what personal branding is about. You get to control your narrative. We might not agree with what Elon and how he's going about it, but this is the narrative he's created, and he's forging forward. And some people like it, some people don't. Same with Taylor Swift. Hard to believe that if anybody would not like her, but there are people that don't like her. But she doesn't care, right? She's created her path. If there's one thing I really want you to walk away from today, is this idea of controlling your narrative. I do not want victims. I do not want victim lady bosses. I don't want you to work for me. I don't want you to lead our country. I don't want you to lead our businesses. I want you to take ownership of your voice, accountability, and responsibility. That's what we need. That's what we need. Okay? You don't need to know all the right answers, but I do need you to have a position And I need you to be mindful about what the heck you're saying, because you are being watched more than men. We are. It's okay, it's fine. So you have a lot of power. So you get to control your narrative. The 4 steps to building your personal brand, I'm going to cover them. They're really the beginning of how to do your LinkedIn profile, but you ladies can start thinking about it and always come back to it. You know, as you evolve your career and you make switches, come back to this when you're thinking about how do I develop my message going into an interview? How do I develop my position when I'm trying to get noticed online? How do I show up? Rachel, I want to be, anybody want to like side hustle, create their own business? Yeah, I imagine a lot, that entrepreneurship, yeah. Anybody have a business? Oh, look at that, oh my gosh. Okay, well, y'all then definitely need to think about this. Even more so, because it's one thing you want to get people to hire you, you want people to purchase from you. When you're a business owner, this is everything, okay? You are the brand. You're the business and the you know what I mean, the company. So it's both things. People come to StandOut Authority for Rachel. Hopefully they'll just come for StandOut Authority one day, but they come for Rachel and they come for Josh. We're working up to that, right? So you can download this. If you go to StandOut Authority right now, so as I go through, you can kind of like have it with you. This should be in the notes afterwards, but standoutauthority.com/personal-brand. And have this document, watch a little video from me, and I'll put this back up later. But this is what we're going to go through so you have it. Okay? The 4 pieces of building your personal brand start with your skills. So this is actually seems one of the simpler things as we develop our brand. But people really struggle with it because when I'm asking you what your skills are, I'm asking you what your hard skills are. So I'm not asking you, I'm a really hard worker, I'm really resilient, I'm really gritty. Great, love that. I want all those things. I want those soft skills in hiring you. You know, they're really important in being a human being. But to get hired, or for people to purchase your product, they need to know what the heck you do. Right? That makes sense? If you're a freshman and you're just kind of like, I don't know, like I'm feeling out this thing, like exploring my options. Maybe you're a junior and you're still exploring. I will still guarantee you have skills. Like you know what you're good at and what you're not. If you want to start with what you're not good at or what you don't like, that's cool too. My mom and dad sent me my report card from pre-K. So when I was 4, they found it, they sent it to me today. And it was crazy how I'm like the same person at 4 years old. It was like, she's a leader, but not too bossy. And she's really creative and loves to do projects, like literally 4 years old, okay? And I'm the same person. So many of us actually need to go back to who we are at our core, right? That inner self, because we're trying to be somebody else, right? Which we're not going to unpack that in this session, right? But I really encourage you to stick to your strengths. Stick to your strengths. Stick to your strengths. Okay? If you hate finance, please don't force yourself to finance. Okay, if you hate biology, why are you doing it? Not gonna get easier. You know? So, skills is really critical. Why is it also critical? Plays an important piece on your LinkedIn profile. Skills are what fuel search, right? Skills are how recruiters search for people. I'm looking for a marketing coordinator. I'm looking for these skills. So if you're not clear on what yours are, how are people going to find you? How are people going to know what you do? And I don't want to interview anybody that's like, I'm good at a lot of things, so I don't need that right now. I really need somebody that can do social media, right? For instance. Okay, so skills. your audience. Right now, I'm talking to amazing job seekers, undergraduate women. So you can uniquely relate to me, and I can uniquely relate to you because of my past experience, right? We get each other because I've been in your shoes. Not exactly, pretty close, right? Not you, and I don't have your experiences, but we can relate to each other. Most marketers, and I'm gonna tell you something that will change your life, not really. But this is where everyone messes up in marketing, period. All my clients, all my corporate marketing, everything I've ever done, audience. People do not know who their audience is. And they're usually talking to somebody that actually doesn't go with their brand. So people will go after an aspirational audience that they want to be in front of, but don't actually resonate with them, which is very frustrating. So you need to start with who knows you, who can relate to you. It's like when you go into the interview, right, and you try to find some commonality with the person interviewing you. Maybe you're not doing that. I highly suggest you do. Because as soon as you can relate to somebody at some level, you're in. People want to relate to you. So your audience is potentially a little small right now because you're like, I'm in school, like who is it? Think about the organizations you're part of, the schools, the certifications you're in, the extracurriculars. Think about your background, right? I'm Jewish, you know? Whatever that means for you. Different audiences might relate to you differently. Your differentiation. Guess what? I'm going to teach you another little thing about branding and marketing. Differentiation, the most critical piece of branding. We live in a sea of people and businesses doing the same thing, right? Like, let's be honest. That's the whole point of marketing, to differentiate across, against the people doing pretty much the same thing. So your differentiation is what's going to make people hire you. So instead of thinking about how do I actually blend in to get the job, how do I actually stand out? Right? In that cover letter that people just put the same cover letter multiple times, it's an opportunity for you to actually say why you are different and build a story then. Okay? Your differentiation could be certifications that you have, languages you speak, all of that. And then last but not least, and most importantly, is your passion. What is giving you energy and excitement about getting out there and interviewing and doing this thing? Because some days are going to be really hard and stressful. Who's stressed already? You all stressed? You're getting schoolwork and extracurriculars. Yeah, guess what? Not gonna get any less stressful. It's great to you. But what's going to help you feel centered is knowing that you're doing something that gives you energy and excitement. So even though you might have to take some classes you don't like, or interviewing really might be your arch nemesis, try to think about what are the things that do excite me and how can I make that part of my everyday. This is a really big distinction between building a personal brand and building a business brand. We're not here today to talk about how, if I was teaching a class on branding and building a value proposition, that's a little different than building a personal brand. Because you are the brand, your skills, your differentiation, your passion make up that value proposition for my marketers in the room or aspiring marketers. So for me, just so we have some context, my big skills are marketing, branding, and communication. And you're going to see that really centered on my LinkedIn profile and my persona that I've been building over the last, decade plus, but particularly as a business owner. My audience, y'all, is part of it. Plus I'm here. First, EmpowHER kickoff speaker. So excited, right? I'm just That to me is really cool. Really, really cool. That is me following my passion. That's me being who I am and creating this opportunity. Right? It doesn't just happen overnight to be able to stand up here. Business professionals, job seekers, etc. My differentiation, the fact that I was in corporate and have that credibility, the fact that I got my MBA, my undergraduate degree. I am a content creator. I am a top marketing voice on LinkedIn. I am part of the creator program. Right? I do consulting actually for the president's office here. So I have a lot of things that make me unique and make people want to hire me, purchase from me, hang out with me. And I'm really passionate, like I kicked off, right, about you finding your voice. That is really what pumps me up. It's like the aha moment. You're like, oh my God, I'm a badass. I'm like, no. That's it. That's what makes me excited. Community building and spirituality. I'm a moon child. Patty's on my team over here. She came and she knows that we love astrology, we love moonology, we love all of it. So if you want to talk about that too, I love it. That's my way of staying connected to the bigger world. So then when you take those forward, when you kind of do this, you could use a document, you put some ideas together, then the goal is that you're going to come up with your personal brand statement. And even if it's not a perfect statement, y'all, and you just write a paragraph, that's totally fine. And guess what? This is living and breathing. Even as I adjusted this deck, I tweaked a few things. I'm always tweaking, because that's who I am, but the essence of what this means never goes away. The fact that I'm a brand marketing lady boss, I help business professionals and organizations build their brand and marketing strategy so they're authentic, grow their influence, and change the world. And then, as you have this statement, but can you just think about how powerful y'all knowing a statement like this when you go into an interview and they ask you, tell me about yourself, and you normally go through your resume, you could maybe kick off with saying, hi, I'm Rachel Bealey, I'm so excited for this interview. I'm a really badass marketer, and I believe my mission here is to help people grow their influence. And I do this through my marketing skills, my experience at company. And I have skills in analytics, because I was at this and this company. And all of these things that I do are part of my mission to change the world and create impact through whoa, that's a very different way of going into an interview and introducing yourself than going through the resume. That's actually, I do, with the MS, Masters of Science and Marketing students, I help support them on this kind of stuff too. And guess what? It lands jobs. It landed me jobs. So great place for you to start, and then you can just see online how you take your personal brand value proposition and can apply it on different social channels. LinkedIn is my power platform, so you can see it says brand marketing lady boss, who builds your personal brand, right? LinkedIn strategy. You can see there's little tweaks on each platform, but it all looks really consistent. Visual identity, same message. Does it feel like you understand that Rachel knows marketing and branding, right? That's my intention, for sure, for sure. So back to those skills, right? Really, I've been leaning into that a lot. Okay, we're coming out of close here, so we can take some questions and then talk about. This will kind of segue, I think, into the more active profile building. Starts with that personal brand. So when we have clarity on the message we want to put out in the world, that clarity makes it easier for us to build our profile. The profile is everything. How many people have a LinkedIn profile? Just sort of every hand's not up and being said at you ladies. Okay. If you don't, you're going to get one after this, right? So this is a sliver of what it takes to build a LinkedIn profile. Here's what I want to tell you before highlighting the key pieces of it and your homework to continue to build a profile. fuels the LinkedIn algorithm, and is 100% optimized for SEO. Who knows what SEO is? Do I need to explain? I'm going to explain it, not everyone does. SEO, search engine optimization. AKA, when you go on Google, do you show up? That's my easy way of explaining SEO. So when somebody is searching for me, or searching for somebody that knows marketing, or searching for somebody that understands personal branding, if I do a really good job with my LinkedIn profile, using appropriate keywords and having it filled out, it's gonna not only show up on LinkedIn, it's gonna show up on the only search platform people go to, Google. So if you go search your name right now on Google, tell me where you show up. Probably nowhere. Totally okay, don't worry about that. I wouldn't expect it, like, come on, we're building our brands. But my hope is that over time, and by you continuing to optimize your profile, that your name will be the first to show up. So that's backstory on why this matters. Key things that you need to think about with your profile. Professional photo. Usually you guys, I'm sure you guys do profile picture things at cool events. Just on a white background, look forward, wear a cute shirt, earring, whatever to bring out your style, whatever that is. Like no side shot, nothing crazy. Cover photo. How many of you right now have no cover photo? Be honest. Really? All of you have cover photos? Thank you. That's impressive. You want something that cover photo is like a banner. It's like a digital banner ad. I'm paying for ad space, except it's my profile. So I'm sending a signal to the world of who I am with that cover image. So you want to think about that as it represents your personal brand. Your headline. Your headline is very important. Sure, you can say that you're a student, that's fine, but what else are you? Are you seeking a job with XYZ skills? There's that right there, that headline, that 200 character, is what actually recruiters see. So really think about your profile as a keyword. It's a keyword centric, it's a place where you want things to be keyword centric, so you show up in the algorithm with recruiters and for people looking for you. Okay, your about section, fill it out, 2,600 characters. I want to hear your story. This is where we tell our why, our story. Okay, your featured section, if you can't get to that right now, it's okay. But over time, if you have any cool projects or good performing posts, or maybe if you're featured in the Washington Post, then you put it in your featured section, almost like the headline of Rachel B. Lee, what she does cool. That's the stuff that I put in my featured section. Your experience, constantly be updating it and make sure that you're tagging the company, right? You don't want those like empty thumbnails. You know what I'm talking about, y'all? The blank. Make sure there is a company associated with the things that you're doing as best as possible. Your recommendations. How many of you have at least one recommendation on your page? Look at her face. She's like, no. That's okay. Don't worry. That's okay. As you go through this year, think about those professors that you become friendly with, any organizations you're seniors that are going to get job, that are going to places. See if they'll write you a recommendation. Here's the thing with recommendations on LinkedIn, they don't go anywhere. They're there forever, and you can use them later on, right? It's like a testimonial. So actually we use, people that write recommendations on my profile, we use them in our marketing materials. It's a little entrepreneur tip for you, because it's NBA approved already, right? Somebody already put that out there. So recommendations are great. Accomplishments, anything cool you've done, organizations you're part of, all of that. You want that on here. URL, how many of you have a URL that's like Rachel Lee 1256 dash? Not all of you have changed your URLs. She's like, yeah, hello. Really? This might be one of my age things too. I'm really proud of you. I would say 99% of people do not touch their URL. If you haven't, just make sure that it's customized to your name as best as possible. And you want that consistency across all of your social platforms. So whatever you are on Instagram, you want to be the same on LinkedIn, the same on TikTok, whatever the case may be. However, unless you don't want to be found, that's another conversation. If you're making like an alter ego TikTok, yeah, then don't make it the same URL, I guess. But at some point, you're probably going to need to bring the worlds together. Again, that's a more branding architecture conversation. So what did I say? Control your narrative and be mindful, right? These are things you want to think about. Your skills. Have y'all noticed on LinkedIn that under the experience now, every section you can add skills. You can have up to 50 skills. And you're like, what are these stupid skills? Like, who cares about this? LinkedIn cares. Okay, almost 1 billion people are on LinkedIn, and this is where all the recruiters are on. They're looking at those skills. So for each of your jobs, like, you want to make sure you're adding in your big core skills. And over time, getting rid of ones that aren't relevant, excuse me. So really, people forget about that skill thing, don't. And I'm not gonna have time to touch about creator mode. How many of you know what creator mode is on LinkedIn or have it turned on? Okay. Creator mode is a relatively new feature, about 2 years old. LinkedIn has made massive investments and focus on creators over the last 2 years. And part of that meant creating a new capability, creator mode. So when you turn on creator mode, your profile goes from a connection to a follower automatically. So people just can't connect with you. They have to like think about connecting with you. They can follow you. It means that you're going to have access to newsletters, LinkedIn Lives. I'm forgetting one other thing. And you're signaling, again, to LinkedIn that I'm more of a creator. I care about putting content out there. And you're also going to get these 5 hashtags that are associated with your profile. The skills that we talked about in the personal brand, what are my skills, what do I want to say to the world, are what start to drive the hashtags on your profile. I would say this is like a level 200 or 300 of LinkedIn. You don't have to do this, but certainly if you plan to put out content, and from a positioning statement, it really helps to have those hashtags. And again, I'm signaling to people that I'm talking about marketing, career, entrepreneurship, branding, and that's how actually my content works. My content team, my whole everything. I have 3 topics. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. Okay? So, as we conclude, your voice really, really matters. Really, really matters right now, this moment in time. If it's not you, then who's going to do it? Who's going to say it? Right? We get to really own our voices. We get to be courageous. You don't need to know the answers, but be curious. Ask good questions. That's what has made me who I am. Curiosity, being proud, not knowing the answers, but being really curious and being really courageous to speak up. Okay? Thank you so much for hanging with me today.